Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone is doing super fantastic today. Before I get into this episode, I do want to say make sure you're following me on my socials at a Tall Girls podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest so that you can stay up to date on all of the latest podcast episodes and catch a glimpse of my everyday life. Also, feel free to leave me a review and let me know how tall you are. I'm genuinely curious. Y'all, I gotta talk about this real quick. I had a tall girl moment the other day. So it's summer. I'm trying to figure out a new wardrobe type of situation going on. And, we're trying to be cute. So I'm out here looking at dresses and yada, yada, yada. And the thing is with that, I never really liked wearing shorter dresses. And this specific instance reminded me why I don't like wearing shorter dresses. So I'm looking at these cute dresses in the store, whatever, and I go to try them on. But there was this one dress. There was this one dress in particular that when I tried it on, it fit me like a t-shirt. It didn't even go past my waist. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't even look myself in the mirror after that point. I'm not even 6 feet tall. And the fact that that dress actually fit me like a t-shirt, I don't know how to feel about it. So I don't know if I'm going back to that store in particular ever again. But honestly, I didn't even buy anything from the store. After that moment, I was pretty disgusted. So I just walked out without buying anything. But I guess you could say that this is finally the transition into summer mode for me. Now that we're back from study abroad and we don't have any school anymore, thank goodness, and all that crusty stuff, I'm officially trying to get into summer mode. As High School Musical once said, what time is it? It's summertime. So I kind of want to start treating it like summertime, and that's a little bit hard because I've had the whole entire school year, then went straight into study abroad. So I'm used to doing school, I am used to working, and I am used to managing this podcast. And that is extremely time consuming and a little bit draining, if you ask me. Especially the whole school part. I feel like I don't mind the working and managing this podcast because those two things I absolutely love doing. But when you add school to the mix of working and managing this podcast, it can get overwhelming at times. I find myself not getting a lot of sleep. I get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep at night. I find it hard to make time for my friends. I find it hard to make time for myself. I find it hard to make time for my hobbies. So now that school is over for literally just 6 weeks, it just doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. I'm so used to being productive or just being bogged down with work that when you subtract the school aspect and the schoolwork and the homework aspect from it, I don't know how to act. I don't know how to feel because I have a lot of time on my hands because school's just not the schoolwork. It's also the commuting and taking the classes and all that stuff. That takes a lot of time. But now that I don't have that anymore, it just feels weird having actual time on my hands. So now I've been trying to create extra work for myself to kind of make up for that so I don't feel as weird, which I argue is kind of unhealthy because I should be taking a break. It's summer. I should be going outside, sitting in the sun, tanning and stuff like that. But I'm literally just giving myself more work to do to make up for the fact that I don't have that school aspect anymore. And it's not like I could take on more hours with like the work that I have because I have to think that I'm going back into the school year. I won't be able to sustain those hours and yada, yada, yada. So what can I do in the meantime to keep myself busy and kind of replace that missing piece of what school used to be? So I'm going to be rebranding this podcast. Nothing too crazy. I'm not changing my logo and like all that stuff, that crazy stuff. It's not crazy. Sometimes it's necessary, as I learned in my class from studying abroad. But I'm not doing anything insane, just a little bit of tweaks here and there. And I figured I feel like that could be good. Create a good routine with that so I can take that into my final school year with me and actually sustain that throughout the school year. My last year of undergrad, that is crazy, but I don't want to focus on that right now. My parents just want to stay talking about grad school and just my career and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind talking about that, but it's summer. I'm trying to be outside. So let me be outside. I want to talk about my future and stuff like that, but I just want to focus on being mindful and staying present in the moment. So, like I said, I'm trying to be outside, so let me be outside. And as a part of transitioning into summer mode and just trying to enjoy my summer, I kind of want to stray away from that toxic habit of needing to be working all the time or doing something all the time and just being outside and being able to just sit outside and do nothing. Just look at the sky, look at people, just breathe, give my brain a rest and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I kind of want to focus on while transitioning into summer mode. But on top of that, I think with summer being here, it's also a good time to talk about confidence. Because, like I said, I'm outside. It was so funny. I was walking to, hear me out. I was walking to the store where the dress was like a t-shirt on me. And I I overheard this conversation between two people while I was walking, and all you hear this man scream is, "We outside this summer." And I was like, I need that energy. We outside this summer. But that's just to say that I'm not the only one outside this summer. Other people are going to be outside this summer. And I think that summer is just a great time to really focus on your confidence and just be confident and put yourself out there and stuff like that. And also trying to grow as a person, focus on yourself as a person, because that's when you have the time and the energy to do that. And that's where we kind of get into fake confidence and real confidence. Let me talk about that for a little bit. So fake confidence is kind of like arrogance, borderline arrogance in a way. It's very loud, it's very insecure, it's very annoying. It's just not cute. There are times where you hear somebody like, "Oh yeah, I'm better than that person. I'm smarter than that person. I'm prettier than that person." And don't get me wrong, I was there too. And honestly, I'm still kind of there too sometimes. I really do find I feel so embarrassed just saying that out loud. I mean, I don't feel embarrassed because everybody does it, but I feel icky saying it out loud, but I do it. I find myself thinking in my head, "Oh my gosh, I am prettier than her," or "Oh my gosh, I am better than that person," or "Oh my gosh, I'm literally smarter than these people." And it's not a good look to just bring yourself up by pushing other people down. It's not a good look to bring people down while trying to elevate yourself, if that makes sense. Or just comparing yourself in a very unhealthy way. Quite frankly, you get nowhere with it. It's not cute. It looks pathetic. But a lot of us are kind of on the fake it till you make it mentality when it comes to confidence. And there are people that really just take it to extremes. I'm not saying that the fake it till we make it mentality is just not a smart way to kind of develop your confidence, because that's kind of what I did to develop mine. But when you take it too far to the point where you're just outright randomly saying, "Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm better than this, or I'm better than this person, I can do that better," and yada yada yada, that's when it gets a little nasty. And that's when it kind of leads to people thinking that you're arrogant, when in reality you're not even confident in yourself. You start talking about yourself constantly. You start trying to make it seem like you're always in a good light, like you're always the best person. And don't get me wrong, you can brag about yourself. You can talk highly of yourself. But there's also a limit to that. And when people start noticing that you're talking about yourself all the time, it gets gross. But on the other hand, real confidence, authentic confidence, yeah, you think highly of yourself. You think that you're good at this and good at that, but you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses, and you're able to embrace that. And you also see other people's strengths and other people's weaknesses. So you could be like, yeah, like she really wears that dress well. I know it's not going to look great on me because it doesn't fit me personally, my body type personally, but she looks great in that. And I look great in these pants that I'm wearing or great in these shorts that I'm wearing. It's kind of like you admire other people's strengths, you admire their good qualities while also understanding that you have good qualities too, and you may not have the qualities that they have, but you're not bringing them down for it, and they may not have the qualities that you have and you're not bringing them down for that either. So you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you understand it, you accept it, and you work with it, and you see other people's strengths and weaknesses, and you don't bring them down for their strengths or bring them down for their weaknesses. And you're more willing to talk about your mistakes and your flaws because, like I said, you kind of accept it, you embrace it, and you're willing to just work on it as well. And that's part of the building your confidence, building your real confidence, just working on your flaws or working on your mistakes. It doesn't even have to be physical. It could just be your habits. It could be your mentality, your thoughts, your emotions, and stuff like that. And I personally think that's what we want to embrace this summer. But I don't think getting to that point is the easiest. I can definitely say that I'm not there. I can definitely say that a lot of people that I know aren't there. You honestly probably aren't even there. And I'm not saying that extremely confident people don't have their moments, because we all have our moments where human beings, sometimes we have those moments of insecurity. It happens. It's life. But not all of us are necessarily where we want to be at. And that's okay. But in terms of actually building that real authentic confidence, I think the first step could definitely be just accepting the fact that you do have insecurities, you do have flaws, you do make mistakes, and you're just not perfect. And being able to actively try to change the things that you are in control of, that you want to change. And that comes with making promises to yourself. So if you're like, yeah, what's an example? Like me, I trying to figure out my hair situation, as you can tell. And this has been years in the making. It's hard wearing my hair out naturally, especially because a lot of the people around me don't wear their hair naturally. And that's okay. I'm not discrediting them or anything for that. But it's just really hard because I don't really have too many people to go to for advice. So I'm just like looking things up on the internet and stuff like that. But I keep telling myself like I want to figure out what works best for my hair and how I can just make it work. And after literally 21 years of trying to get it together or whatever, I finally found products that worked for my hair. And now, because I took that time to really do my research and try things out and not be afraid to fail, I was able to figure out what works for my hair, and now I feel confident in my hair because I know that it looks nice and I know I put the time and the effort into it to make it look like this. So something like that, just realizing that you will make mistakes, realizing that you will fail, and that's okay. That's part of the process of just accepting that fact and actively working to change the things that you are in control of. And keeping promises to yourself even when it feels like it's getting hard. So yeah, I think that we're definitely going into confident summer era mode. Does that even make sense? Confident era, what? What am I saying? Am I okay? Confident summer era mode. We're just trying to have a confident summer this summer. We're outside this summer and we're going to be confident outside this summer. Yes. I think that I can stick with that goal, or I can try to. No, screw it. I'm going to stick with that goal. But that's it for today's little chit chat. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. As always, feel free to hit me up on my socials at A Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And just let me know, are you stepping into your little confident summer era? Let me know if you have any awesome plans this summer. Are you going places? Are you seeing things? Are you seeing people? Because like I said, we outside this summer. I keep saying that. I'm going to keep telling myself that till I believe it. We outside the summer instead of just trying to give myself more work to do. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the end of this episode, and I will catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.